Hello everybody, my name is Kathy and I'm proud to announce the launch of my new website Void and Moon, and I'm glad you came to watch my video. Hopefully we'll be doing a lot more videos like this in the future, and I know we plan on live streaming some games once we get that set up. So for now I wanted to do a deck tech with you on a deck that I've been working on. Our local is having its first big standard event in it's like 2 weeks. So this is the deck I've been working on. I don't normally share my deck ideas right before an event, so we'll see how this works in my favor or against my favor. The deck I built is for my favorite ruler, Crimson Girl. Hold it up there for you. And there. I picked her for the same reason I pick a lot of my cards. I like the artwork, and it's a girl. I like playing girls because I relate to them. So I like using Crimson Girl as my ruler, and her, if anyone doesn't know what she does on her ruler side, she increases, if your creatures are pumped by outside cards or outside spells, it increases those double. So my deck kind of abuses that. She also has a pro-red, pro-black ability for herself. Doesn't really utilize that as much, but it's a great protection against Abdul, for example, which is a really popular deck right now, so she can't take damage from Abdul. And it's also good against most of the spells that are out there right now to interact with rulers are like Thunder and the black-red one that I can't think of right now that you can't chase on. And so she doesn't get affected by those, which is great. So she can stick around for a while on board. So I guess I'll start with the creatures that I'm playing. I have, start off with 4 Cowardly Lions here. The Cowardly Lion, I would say, is probably one of the weaker creatures that I play. He is only a 200 to start, and even with his first pumps, he only goes up to 5/5. I don't know if you can hear that. My cats are kind of fighting in the background, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, he only goes up to a 5/5 at his first pump, which is still in Thunder range. You have to attack with him on turn 3 and get through to get him big enough, which by turn 3 they usually have a blocker out. So I still really like him because he works really well with Crimson Girl. Those tokens end up being worth 600 instead of 300, and some other cards that you'll see a little bit later. And then to go along with the Cowardly Lion, it's the cats again, I have Glinda. So that's really good. Turn 1 to play the Cowardly Lion, turn 2 play Glinda, in case you're on the draw, or if they did have a 1-drop as well to block with. Glinda makes it so that he's guaranteed that counter regardless of what they have on their side. And then she's also good for the early game Thunder because you can sacrifice her and then it counters the Thunder. This is, of course, assuming it's early game and they don't have the mana to pay for her activate there. And then to go along with the Cowardly Lion, I also play the Heartless Tin Man. I don't play the Scarecrow because my deck doesn't abuse, I guess, having the Tin Man, having the Scarecrow enough, and the Tin Man and the Lion. I also think the Scarecrow is pretty bad. His ability's not, he comes in, he gets 2 counters, he can't get any more. These 2 can grow. They're not, pigeonholed into 1 or 2 counters and that's it. So with the Tin Man on turn 1, my favorite follow-up play is with Silver Stake, which he's got a couple different abilities, but my favorite is that you can pay a white to put it back into your hand. And this is something interesting about Force of Will, as many of you know. You actually draw a card for your turn before you untap. So what I like to do is draw a card for my turn. If I have an extra mana, I'm not going to use it. I'll bounce the stake back to my turn before my untap and then recast it. So that same stake, 2 turns in a row, will get double counters on my Tin Man. So that's plus 600. And then the stake itself gives plus 400, I believe it is. Yeah, so that's 1000 just in counters on turn 3. So that's really good. And then you can keep doing that over and over if you want to, bouncing the stake back and everything. And if they do find a kill for your Tin Man, you can still return it and use it later. So I'm definitely using 4 Tin Mans. And then the other 2 creatures I'm playing, obviously Oz the Great Wizard. I did have more than 2 of him to start. I ended up cutting it down to 2, just finding room for other cards that I thought were more useful. He is in there for Oz's Magic, which is the spell that goes along with him. So Oz's Magic I'm also running 2, and that will add achievement counters to my Tin Man and my Cowardly Lion. I'm only running 2 Oz's Magic because we were playing it differently. We thought at first that you could play it says that you can put 2 counters on up to 2 creatures. So we thought it was that you could choose to put both counters on 1 creature, but actually you can only put 1 counter on up to 2 creatures. So I ended up cutting it down to 2, and I realized it wasn't as good as I thought it was. It's still totally worth it though, because you get card draw and counters on your creatures. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1, I guess you could say. Replaces itself. But then the Oz, the Great Wizard, is actually in there to tutor for some of my spells that I used to interact with. So it's a tutor for, also I play 2 Duel of Truth, which is obvious. My guys get huge really fast, so it's really good removal for your guys. And 4 Thunder, which is very great ruler interaction as well as cheap creature kill. And if I'm close enough to, I'm sorry, not, yeah. And if I'm close enough to just killing you, I can just cast Thunder if I need to. So that kind of gets us into what spells I'm playing. And then the only other spell I'm playing is I'm playing 4 Dream of Juliets. This one I'm considering possibly moving 2 of them to the sideboard. Right now I've been using it, you hear those cats going? Right now I've been using it pretty much just for addition removal for the most part. And once in a while I'll use it just to card draw if I need to. And then removing creatures from combat if I just need to stay alive like a little bit longer. But it seems like I've mostly been using it for addition removal, so I might move some of those to the sideboard. And then I'm also playing 2 Zekes. This is one that I'm also considering actually moving up to 4. It's obviously it's the spell that goes along with Crimson Girl, so I get the most benefit playing Crimson Girl as my ruler. But right now on double green, I don't know. I've just been trying out 2 mana and seeing how it works. Woo! They definitely broke something that time. Alright, so I kind of sneaked, introduced my additions to. We started off with Silver Stake already. I'm also trying out 2 Ragnarok. I realized that Crimson Girl pumps this to make them plus 1,000, plus 1,000. It doesn't pump when she's wearing it, but it does pump my creatures, so I'm trying it out for now. It seems a little bit win more. It seems a bit overdone, not really necessary. And I'm only playing, well, I guess I'm playing 6 white sources, so double white's not that hard to get. But if I was looking for room for 2 other Zekes, that's probably where it would come from. I'm thinking of cutting the 2 Ragnaroks to play the 2 Zekes. I think I can get more value from Zekes. We'll see what ends up happening there. And then I'm obviously playing the 4 Refarth, because that's how you get the free flip off of Crimson Girl. If I cast this, I can flip Crimson Girl at no mana cost, assuming I didn't use her mana ability to add mana. I really, really like Refarth, and my other addition here is I play 2, I don't even know what this is called, Realm of Evolution. This pumps Fairy Tales, which works with Crimson Girl, because Crimson Girl is a fairy tale. So while Refarth doesn't pump Crimson Girl, Realm of Evolution does. So that gives her an extra +2/+2 for each Realm of Evolution I have out. Both of these will put counters on my Tin Man, so that's awesome. And I also really like the combo that you can do here. If this game is a little bit aggro rush in the middle, if the game goes late game and I was able to get them down to like 1,000 or around there, at that point they're going to have a lot of blockers out. It's going to be hard for me to get that additional like last attack through. So what I like is I can sacrifice this and go search for a Fairy Tale, search for Glinda, and then I can make my last dude unblockable. And if necessary, I can sack a Refarth to give my guy an extra 400, or if my ruler slipped, an extra 800. So usually that's plenty to do like the finishing blow late game, to search for the Glinda if I need to, and then an extra couple of damage if what I have out already isn't enough. So I really think those 2 cards in tandem with Glinda, and especially with the Tin Man, are like really, really, they've been working really well for me. And I don't think I showed you that I'm playing 4 Tinkerbells. If I did, sorry for repeating, but I'm also playing 4 Tinkerbells. So she gets +2/+2 for each Fairy Tale in play. It's +400/+400 if I have Crimson Girl, so that works out really, really well. And my Fairy Tales, I've got the 2 Glindas, 4 Lions, 4 Tin Mans. Oz is also a Fairy Tale, so that's all my creatures are Fairy Tales, and that just kind of works out nicely. I have not built a sideboard yet. I'm definitely considering, I believe it is Aesop that gives Fairy Tales can't be targeted. That card is really, really good. I originally had it in my main board and was just cutting it to move stuff around. I think I ended up replacing him with Oz. I don't think I had Oz initially, and Oz is obviously really important for searching out those 1-drop spells that I need. So Aesop lost the battle pretty quickly. And then, so he might go on my sideboard. I'm still trying to, fix my main board for sure before I start working on the sideboard for the event that's coming up. And then my mana base is pretty straightforward. I'm running 4, obviously, Magic Stone of Gusting Skies. I'm not used to playing, I've only been playing this game for a couple months, so I haven't learned all the card names yet. Magic Stone of Blasting Waves, I'm playing 4 of the red-green, and that's 4 green-white. And then I'm playing 1 Magic Stone of Moonshade. I'm so used to calling this City of Brass because City of Brass and Magic is the exact same thing. And I'm used to calling this Reflecting Pool because this is Reflecting Pool for Magic, but this is Magic Stone of Moonlight. So this way, if I have this out with the Moonlight, this Moonlight then makes any color mana, and I don't have to pay 200. But those are mostly for the double color fixing if I need double white for Ragnarok or something like that. So, I hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll be doing more deck techs in the future. I also have a Dracula Alucard deck built that I'd love to share with you. I know everyone's kind of been getting sick of seeing Grim and Abdul lists everywhere, so I'm going to try to mix it up and throw out. I had a pretty interesting Lumia deck I tried. I had a really, really good Pandora deck that I'll probably share with you. But for now, that's all, and I hope to see you again soon on Void and Moon. Thanks for watching.